It's a really exciting time of year right now in April when all of my peonies are just about to burst open and bloom. So I wanted to make this video for you all about how I grow peonies in my Zone 9B garden here in Northern California. On Longfield Gardens website, it specifically states that peonies are not recommended to grow in Zone 9B. And when I read this, I was so heartbroken because one of my dreams someday is to have like a whole field of peonies. Peonies are really only recommended in zones 3 through 8. So if you live in one of those zones, you're very lucky because you probably are able to have very strong, luscious peony growth. Here in zone 9, we may struggle a little bit, but we definitely can let them grow. Now, one of the tricks that I do here in zone 9 to make sure that I have success with my peonies is I plant them so shallow. When it's wintertime, you can literally see the eyes of the peony coming out of the ground, and you can even see some of the root, which is definitely not recommended. Usually it's recommended to plant at least 1 to 2 inches deep, but this is really what works for me here in my garden. And if you're in a zone 9B like me, I would definitely recommend you plant your peony more shallow. Now, if you're in a cooler zone like zone 3, 4, 5, you definitely want to go about 2 inches, but no deeper than that. And the warmer you get, basically, the closer to the surface that you can plant them. The peonies, they do need a period of cold. If they're too deep into the ground, they may not be exposed to that cold weather as much, so definitely plant them more shallow. Now, peonies are sun lovers. They definitely need about 6 hours a day of sunshine. I had one peony, my Carl Rosenfeld, that was kind of hidden behind some plants in shade. It really wasn't flowering for me until I replanted it, and I'll show you that one right now. As far as soil goes, I have clay soil in my garden, which I'm sure many of you do also. I've read things like peonies need rich, fertile soil. I'm going to go ahead and say that that's not true. You can go ahead and plant your peony in clay soil. When I plant them, I do put a little bit of like a nice compost in there for them, but after that, they do just fine in clay. As far as water goes, I do have drip irrigation set out to most of my peonies. I give them 5 minutes of drip irrigation every 24 hours. And they do just fine. I do find that they tend to be a little bit more, I don't want to say that they're drought tolerant, but they can definitely withstand some low water usage. So let's say that you're running into some trouble with your peony blooming. This could be for a multitude of reasons. Number one, your peony may be planted too deep. If it's planted too deep, more than 2 inches, you're not getting any blooms, go ahead and dig it out and plant the eyes of the peony closer to the surface. The eyes are like the little pink things that come out of the bulb. Those are the eyes. Plant them closer to the surface. Number two, your peony may be too young. Now, I have some peonies in my first and third year in my garden, which I'll show you a little bit later, but none of them are blooming, and that's normal. You may start to see some blooms in year 4 and 5. Sometimes they say year 3, maybe I'm just a little bit unlucky, but none of my peonies from year 3 are blooming. Number 3, they may not be getting enough sunlight. Plant them somewhere where they're gonna get at least 6 hours a day, maybe a little bit less if you're in a warm zone like I am, but 6 hours ideally. Number 4, the next one might be a little bit controversial. I've heard that some people who live in warmer climates, what they do is they come through and snip all the dead leaves off of their peony in November to kind of force them to go into dormancy, maybe a little bit earlier than they would have otherwise in our warmer climates. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, this is not necessary because, and I'm going to overlay some footage. Every single day during my lunch, I go for a walk in this really cute neighborhood, and there are some people there that have peonies. And I've been watching these peonies for at least 3 years now. Now, they never cut back the dead growth in the winter. They never do. Right now, their peonies are putting on new beautiful growth with buds, and you can still see the dead plants from last year. Now, I don't know why they don't do this. You definitely probably should do this for cosmetic reasons, but I'm gonna tell you right now, even if your peony has like the dead growth from last year, it's still gonna bloom. There's a couple of different ways that you can plant peonies. Most of mine were planted as bare roots, where I bought a little set at Costco with just the bare roots and I planted them in the fall or the early winter. You could also purchase peonies as fully mature plants. I know Costco has some mature peony plants right now in April here in my zone, in my climate. I'm currently at Lowe's and I wasn't even looking for this, but I came across some peonies. It looks like they have this Ito peony, Misaka, for $96. It's a very small plant with just one eye, so it's quite expensive. They also have a few others like Coral Charm. This one looks like a pretty good plant. It's $40 and it has, looks like 6 eyes and a couple of blooms. I had no idea that Lowe's had peonies at this time of year. It's April, I want to say April 17th today. Here's another Coral Charm. This one has nice blooms on it. This one's the Shirley Temple. I'm gonna get this one out of the way and show you some more. I've actually never even heard of this one. Paul M. Wild. Most of the peonies in my garden were planted as bare roots, with the exception of my Carl Rosenfeld peony, which I showed you earlier. That one I purchased as a cute little plant from Home Depot. This was probably about 5 or 6 years ago now, and it's become like a beautiful full mature plant. And then I might be mispronouncing this, let me know in the comments if I am. Madame Emily Debutante. I bought that one at a plant nursery for probably around like $30–40. And that one I'll also show you. The next part may not be so fun to talk about, but it's definitely a reality with peonies. Some peonies get a fungal disease called botrytis on them. As soon as you start to see some of your peonies develop kind of like black, burned, dead looking leaves, you want to remove those as soon as possible. The dead, burned looking leaves, that's most likely a fungal infection called botrytis. Get them out of there, otherwise the botrytis is gonna spread and infect your other peonies. You don't want that. And last but not least, the really fun part is the harvesting part. Now we're currently, I wanna say today is April 15th, and we're currently in marble stage. My peonies are so close to being ready for harvest. When they're in a marble stage, if you squeeze the peony, they kind of feel hard like a marble. Once they're in marshmallow stage, you come by, you squeeze the peony, and it's soft and fluffy. It kind of feels like a marshmallow. That part is when you want to harvest it. You don't want to, I guess you can wait until the peony is fully open, but when you harvest at marshmallow stage, you're going to get the longest vase life of around 7 days, sometimes even longer if you're lucky. Now I just put on my glove because I want to show you some peonies in my first year that have something strange looking on them. I think this might be botrytis, so we're going to remove it. These are the peonies in year 1. I just planted these back in January, and if you look here, this peony has some like beautiful lush growth, but then there are a couple of like stems that are maybe infected with something. I'm gonna try my best right now to carefully remove them. Is that a fungal disease or is that just dry leaves? And we have some more here. Notice it's a beautiful luscious plant. I believe this one is my Felix Kraus. With some dead on the bottom there. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like peonies, give this video a like. Subscribe to my channel to see how my peonies are going to develop through the years. And yeah, bye.